Okay, so let's talk about get up, or should we say set up, because that's what it does to you voters out there. It sets you up to believe that it's somehow independent, when in fact, it's a front for the Greens and the Labor Party. Yes, folks, that is correct. In fact, Wiley Bill Shorten is or was on the board of the thing. And if you have a look at where their funding comes from, then look no further than the trade union movement. Which brings us to our next point. Did you know that every state and federal lower house and upper house seat held by Labor belongs to the trade union movement, and they decide who gets what in pre-selection terms? Want evidence of that, do you? Well, look no further than the recent WA Senate rerun. Who do you think dumped the sitting senator in favour of the union hack Joe Bullock? The unions did, not the Labor Party, not the Parliamentary Party, not the public, heaven forbid that the great unwashed should have a say. No, it was the union members who did the grubby little deal. And then when they found out they'd been had over, they regretted it and wanted to dump Bullock. Fat chance of that happening, as he now has his rather large snout firmly in the trough. Now, do you all really believe that Wiley Bill and his lot are going to change the sort of power base that unions have when the Labor Party only exists to serve the unions? Hell, you can't even join the Labor Party if you're not in a union. They talk about democracy? How democratic is a party that states you cannot be part of this group without belonging to that group? That is a dictatorship, not democracy. Sounds a little like Stalin's Russia, where he will tell you who you can associate with. The Liberal Party and the Greens don't give a toss if you are or are not a member of this or that group, as you're all welcome to join those parties, but not the Labor Party. They say you have to be in a union before you can join their crowd. Democratic? You have to be joking. Nothing democratic about it. Now, with restrictions like that, what sort of incestuous, narrow-minded little poll do they have to draw on to find so-called talent to represent you, the Australian people? Come on, folks. The union movement represents a tiny fraction of the Australian population, yet the Labor Party is 100% members of that small clique. So how on earth can they claim to represent Australians? Rubbish. I say they can only move when the unions say they can, and can only do what the unions allow them to do. Now let's have a look at the bedfellows of the Australian Labor Party, the Greens. So, here we have an alliance between a party that's all about representing workers, all workers, including those in the timber industry, and a party of tree huggers who only want to shut down logging, fishing, farming, mining, manufacturing. Hell, anything that produces a dollar should be closed, and the natural environment be returned to the land. I wonder who these fools would govern once they've had us all move offshore so the animals can roam free. Really? Get with the program, people. Tasmania was for years effectively run by the Greens. And have a look at that economy. My God, it was Australia's answer to Greece. The rest of Australia had to support the wilderness huggers who effectively exported the Tasmanian economy to the mainland. The support was made possible because the rainbow communist in charge of the federal Greens mob had that maniac Gillard bend over and he rogered her into deals that any sane person would laugh at. Sadly, we the Australian people paid the bill, and we still are. Want further evidence of that fact? Have a look at the latest employment where we can see the employment rate in Tasmania is very healthy. In fact, it's better than Victoria. So what has changed there recently? Oh, that's right. They got rid of the tree-hugging Labor mob and voted in a Liberal government. So now there's some confidence in the place and the economy's moving again. Crikey, people, blind Freddie can see the reality of it all. It's all a cycle. Labor get into power and spend their way to history, not knowing who the hell will pay off the credit card. And then we get a change of government and the nasty Liberal Party have to take the hard decisions to pay off the bills. Let's leave you with a quote. Think about this. What have we learned in the last 2066 years? The budget should be balanced, the treasury should be refilled, public debt should be reduced, the arrogance of officialdom should be tempered and controlled, and the assistance to foreign lands should be curtailed, lest Rome become bankrupt. People must again learn to work instead of living on public assistance. That was said by Cicero in 55 BC. So, What have we learned in the last 2066 years? Evidently, nothing at all.